By the way, I get very nervous on talk shows. I get very uncomfortable, and I haven't done one for like a decade.
Oh God, I hate this part.
Okay,
it's
don't tell it.
It's.
He goes, they use those things. Oh my God.
Glad to have you here. Please subscribe.
There are women who are beautiful. And then there are women who walk into a room and make everyone in it, men, women, walls, furniture, suddenly very aware that they exist. Angelina Jolie is the second kind. Angelina Jolie is not a celebrity. She is not a movie star. She is a phenomenon that has been operating at full power for 30 years. And most people still cannot explain exactly
so
why.
Thanks for being here.
I wanted to come on. I haven't had a good excuse, so.
You don't need an excuse.
Well, good. I'll be on a lot then.
You can just, you don't even
just show up.
Yeah, you can just sit here and we'll move the other guest over. And then,
Angelina Jolie is, by almost universal consensus, one of the most beautiful human beings to have ever had the nerve to exist.
This is what's in my bag.
The presence that somehow photographs like a Renaissance painting, even when she's standing in an airport. Angelina's beauty was never soft, never approachable, never the kind that makes you comfortable. It is the kind that makes you nervous.
I'm sorry.
What for?
There is something in her face that says, I have already thought about this more deeply than you have, and I found it interesting for about 40 minutes before moving on. That quality, that faint, unspoken intellectual distance is not something you can manufacture.
The only child I knew who was 5 years old, little girl who wouldn't cry, which was Viv. So.
You either have it, or you spend your whole life trying to get it and failing.
By that picture, I just thought you were great.
Oh, thank you.
She has always had it. At 19, at 35.
I'm like speechless now. I get all.
The look didn't make Angelina iconic. The look is just the first sentence. The rest of her wrote the book.
I'm in shock, and I'm so in love with my brother right now.
Here's what people forget about Angelina Jolie. Before she was the humanitarian, before she was Maleficent, before she was the woman who made Brad Pitt abandon an entire marriage on a film set in Morocco, she was chaotic. Loudly, unapologetically, fascinatingly chaotic. She wore a vial of her then husband's blood around her neck. She kissed her brother on the mouth at the Oscars and simply did not explain herself. She told interviewers things that made publicists physically age in real time.
I carry, well, yeah, sometimes a butterfly. I carry, yeah, different types of knives I've carried. Yeah, the butterfly knives certainly. They're fun to play with because they. Yeah, I mean you can. There is an art to them, and then the movement of them.
She collected knives as a teenager. She once said, with complete sincerity, that she had thought seriously about becoming a funeral
director. Is it true that prior to acting, you were studying to become a funeral director?
Yes.
And here is what's remarkable. None of it read as a cry for attention. It read as someone who was simply reporting the truth about herself without filtering it for your comfort. That is extraordinarily rare. Most people, especially famous people, are constantly managing your perception of them.
I was extremely out of shape. I hadn't gone to a gym in years.
Angelina, especially early on, seemed genuinely unbothered by your perception. She was going to be exactly who she was. You were welcome to watch. Your approval was optional. That kind of self-possession is magnetic in a way that no PR team can manufacture and no amount of good press can replicate. Then something happened. Angelina Jolie, the knife-collecting, blood-wearing, industry-shaking force of nature, quietly became one of the most prominent humanitarian figures of the 21st century. She became a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador in 2001. She visited over 30 countries in conflict zones, refugee camps, war zones, places most celebrities wouldn't even Google. She adopted 3 children from 3 different countries before the world had fully processed what she was doing or why. She later had 3 biological children. She wrote op-eds about wartime sexual violence that were read into the United Nations record. She had a preventive double mastectomy and then wrote about it publicly so that women who couldn't afford to be afraid of their own genetics might feel less alone. Because there is nothing more compelling than someone who could have coasted, who had every reason and every resource to simply be beautiful and famous and comfortable, choosing instead to make themselves useful in the hardest possible places.
What's the one piece of advice you have for someone going through a hard time?
go right through it. Like right through it. Feel it, be in it, don't avoid it, go completely in it, feel everything, and then go right through it and get out the other end.
The wildness of her youth didn't look reckless anymore. It looked like someone who had always been driven by something deeper than the industry she was standing in. Someone who was always going to end up somewhere more important than Hollywood.
I just had my twins, and I'd been in a nightgown for about 7 months, and I felt like getting up and punching something.
It just took the world a minute to catch
When I'm
up.
home with the kids.
Can we also just say, this woman can act? In a world obsessed with her personal life, it became easy to forget that Angelina Jolie won an Academy Award at 23 for Girl, interrupted, a performance so raw and so precisely controlled at the same time.
You know what I think? I think you want to poop, Daisy. I think it's been days.
She played a woman who was dangerous, magnetic, and broken, and made you root for her anyway. Sound familiar? She did it again in Gia, in A Mighty Heart, even in Maleficent.
True love's kiss.
A film designed primarily to sell merchandise to children, she delivered a performance with genuine Shakespearean weight, all cheekbones, and barely contained grief, and made it feel like art. The talent was always there. It just kept getting overshadowed by the fact that she was simultaneously being one of the most talked about human beings on the planet. That is a genuinely absurd thing to happen to a person, and she handled it by continuing to work, quietly, seriously, without ever seeming to need the validation. So what is it? After all of that, the beauty, the chaos, the compassion, the craft, what is the actual source of Angelina Jolie's aura? It is this. She has never once, in 30 years of public life, appeared to be performing herself for your benefit.
You're going to adopt a baby from every country? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I plan to.
I mean, really, you almost are going to... There's a lot of countries. There are a lot of countries.
She is not managing your feelings about her. She is not softening her edges to make you
It
comfortable.
doesn't really matter what I am. It doesn't really matter what like my house looks like in Style magazine. Or
She is not asking for your approval, your understanding, or your forgiveness. She simply is, completely, continuously, at full volume. Not the cheekbones, not the films, not even the humanitarian work, as extraordinary as it is. It is the radical, unshakable, almost defensive completeness of a woman who decided very early, and apparently forever, that she was going to be entirely herself and let the world sort itself out accordingly. Nobody leaves the Angelina Jolie conversation the same, and she knew that before you even clicked play.
When I ask you to do something, you should occasionally tell me no.
I am careful, madam. That is why I don't dare to tell you no.